Hello and welcome to Around the Lens Interview. I'm your host, David Murphy, joined with me by filmmaker Mohamed Taher. Mohamed is the very accomplished filmmaker who created the film which is premiering at Tribeca, the short film appearing at, is it premiering at Tribeca or is it just appearing? I can't
It's
remember.
it's a North America premiere.
North America. Okay, let me start over so I say that correctly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey everybody, it's David Murphy from Around the Lens here with another interview with a filmmaker who is going to be having their North American premiere of their film 32B. I'm pleased to welcome to the show Mohamed Taher. Hello, Mohamed. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Great to have you on the program, Mohamed. Tell me a little bit about 32B. What's kind of the synopsis of this film? What's the log line? What's it all about?
32B, it's set in Cairo 2005, and it follows a single father who learns that his teenage daughter is growing up. She needs her first bra. So his attempt to navigate this situation leads to some awkwardness and anxiety and some unexpected tenderness, which revealing some emotional distance and love that coexists between himself and his daughter as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What I liked about your film was that it's a really simple concept, but told very earnestly and portrayed very well by obviously the actors involved. So it was a really kind of nice, refreshing film to watch, especially considering, I'm not familiar with Egypt or Egyptian culture that much, other than, my, um, you know, experiences watching maybe popular media that feature Egypt in it. So it was really interesting and neat to see kind of that sort of quiet moments and sort of a simple premise, but from the perspective of being in Egypt. Kind of where did the genesis of the story come from? How did you sort of come across it and develop it and make it what it is?
Haitham Dabur, who is the screenwriter of the film, wrote it, and it's from real life stories that became around him. And when he told me about this kind of story, I told him I'm so interested into this kind of stories that is relatable to everyone, and it's true. Uh, so yeah, they it's kind of stories that you can see in everyday's life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The relatability, I think, is going to be something that helps a lot of people connect, obviously, with the story and with the characters involved. I'm a parent
Yes.
myself. I've got boys, so I don't have to worry about what this character worried about. But, again, that kind of trying to help your children navigate their growth and, their maturity into adults, I think is something that is really relatable for anyone who's a parent. Are you a parent yourself?
Yes, a new parent. Yeah.
A new parent? Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. Boy or girl?
Thank you. Boy, he's now a year and a half.
Okay. All right, great. So you won't have to worry about this particular instance, but trust me, there's a lot of things that boys are going to be doing growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you a parent when you made this, or was that a new boy?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Like I was expecting. Yeah, my wife was expecting. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, coming from that perspective of not being a parent and now being a parent, like, do you kind of look at this story and the subject matter differently at all, or is it kind of like you have a greater understanding now that you're a parent in terms of kind of what the characters are going through?
I read a lot about the characters and what they can expect in this kind of situations, and also I discussed it with the screenwriter who at this time was a parent for two boys, and also the main character who told me that this is the kind of situation that he fears because he has a 6 years old daughter, and he always think about this kind of stuff that he gonna face with her, and so yeah, I don't think that it's gonna be different if I were a parent at this time, because I talked a lot with a lot of people involving in the film, about their experience and what they go through with this kind of situations.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So you've been doing, filmmaking for a little bit now. You went to the you went to college in
SCAD, Savannah College
yeah,
of Art and
yes, I was
Design.
looking it
Yes,
up. I want to make sure I said it correctly.
yes.
How did you take what you learned from college and apply it to your filmmaking career? Was it kind of I asked this on behalf of people who may or may not go to college for film and are doing films. Like I didn't go to college and I do films, but like how do you feel your college education helped you lead you to this point now where you're making films that are appearing in Tribeca?
I guess going to film school, it added to me the principle of filmmaking. It added to me the hands-on experience of a lot of things in directing, cinematography, and all the aspects of filmmaking and screenwriting. And this is the thing that I think I got it from college that I tend to um, look into a lot of details into the screen. Writing during the process. And I believe that most of what I had in my career is through my hands-on experience throughout the years. I've been working as a first assistant director for more like 12 years right now.
Well,
And this is my first short film after this. So I got a lot of experience from just helping a lot of people on set and doing first assistant directing for a lot of big productions in the Middle East, especially in Egypt. So I got a lot from the film school, but most of my experience also I got it from real experience on set.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think you get your best experience when you're on set. It's where I got
Yes.
most mine, and again, you can't replicate that. Well, you can to a degree, but I think being on set is a far different experience
Yes.
um, than being in a school environment, I imagine. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you had all that experience going into this short because it obviously shows in terms of the overall professional quality of the film and the acting and everything. Talk to me a little bit about some of the technical details of the film. Always love digging into the technical stuff. Over how many days did you shoot it, and what was the camera type that you used?
We shot the film in 2 days, and we used the Alexa Mini, uh, just the normal Alexa Mini,
Absolutely.
and
And
the lenses was Cook S4,
what's that?
Cook S4 lenses.
Oh, okay, Cook. Wow, those are
Yeah.
those are some really good cinema class.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
imagine they were rented or borrowed
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
because
it,
those
it was
things,
rented. Yeah.
yeah, those things are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 days, were they kind of long days, 12 hours plus, or kind of were they more compact? I mean,
Yeah. It was about 14 hours a day.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So you've done other short films, according to your IMDb, Take Care of Zizi. How did that experience kind of help you with this experience?
Take care of Zizi. It wasn't a short film. It was a TV show, and I was the first assistant director and the second unit director for it. So it's not my short film, or it's not my main kind of production. Uh, but it helped me a lot throughout my career because it's one of the things that I did that I'm so proud of because I learned a lot on this TV show. Karim Shinawi is the director of it, and it was a hit in Egypt and in the Middle East. And I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot in this TV show.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
32B is my first short film.
That's awesome. Now, you shot this in Egypt and
Yes.
you've done a lot of work in Egypt. Do you want to continue to film in Egypt or are you interested in filming in other countries?
I work in Egypt. I'm interested to work in other countries as well. I worked on in some of the Middle Eastern countries, and also I worked in the UK for a while. And while I was studying in the US, I worked there for a short time. So I'm interested to work anyway.
It's awesome. This film is coming in Tribeca. How does it feel to have your film in the Tribeca Film Festival?
I feel I'm blessed and proud that my first film got into Tribeca because uh, it's a great festival, and it's great to screen your film into or to international audiences with different perspective. I'm so glad to be there, and I'm so eager to learn how they can perceive this kind of films.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's great to, again, bring light into using a festival to highlight, what it's like in other countries and different experiences, and really how similar those experiences are, right? Just because you're in Egypt, it's a very similar, relatable experience, and I think a lot of the folks who watch it, especially if they're fathers, are going to relate. What is next for you in terms of what you want to do following this? Are you looking at feature films, other short films, or just kind of going back to work on other projects of that other people are directing?
I'm working on my feature film, my first feature film. I'm developing right now, and also I'm working on a TV series in Egypt, but it's a different genre. It's a suspense and thriller genre. So I'm working on my project right now. So yeah, I have two projects that currently I'm working on.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to chat with me today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
Um, Thank you for having me, and I'm so glad to talk to you today.
That's great. Well, definitely if you're going to Tribeca or in the area, check out the short film, and I'm sure you'll show it up online at some point so everyone can get the chance to see it. Is there any particular website or any area that you want to point people towards with regard to yourself?
Currently in the Middle East, we're gonna show it on a platform called Shahid.com. It's a Middle Eastern VOD or streaming platform,
Yeah.
and but for international audience, not at the moment. We still hope to have some screening internationally after Tribeca.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mohammed. Really
Thank
appreciate
you, Dave.
it. Lovely to
Thank you.
talk to. And if I see you at the festival, I'll be sure to say hello.
Thank you.
All right. Have a
See
great
you.
one, buddy. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.
Hello and welcome to another Around the Lens interview. I'm your host, David Murphy. Joining me is the director and writer of a film that's premiering in Tribeca, Jesse Weglein. Hello, Jesse. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great. Jesse, tell the audience a little about yourself. I know you got a pretty interesting background.
Yeah, thank you. I come from traditional animation, 3D animation at Pixar. So I was there for almost 16 years in the lighting and creative direction, area. I was 10 years as a senior generalist at Pixar. So I have this unique kind of background within that studio to understand the full pipeline of animation. So when I left Pixar to start my own company, that experience was really important to be able to understand how to create something from the ground up and still use everything, all of the legacy, all of the traditional ways that we did something, and to tell stories and yet integrate some new technologies along the way to make it more efficient.
Absolutely. And tell me a little bit, what is Roar about? What's kind of like the log line of it for our folks who haven't seen it?
Yeah, so it's a story about a young girl from Japan whose family moves to San Francisco. Basically, she's neurodivergent. She has selective mutism, so she's a young girl, but she can't speak. So her name is Tora, which is in Japanese tiger. So, but she can't roar. So that's the play on the title, where she has so much to say, and she's feeling all these huge emotions from moving to a new place, being uprooted. And without the ability to really articulate her feelings externally, she was kind of resolves to listen to her music with her headphones throughout the short. And you begin to realize that that song, the soundtrack, is her internal monologue. that's how she's feeling about things. She's understanding the world through her thoughts as played in a kind of a K-pop inspired song.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've never seen a film at a film festival that was constructed or utilized AI
Mm.
to, I think, the extent your film did. So can you talk to me a little bit about how much of it is kind of like built from AI or AI prompts
Yeah.
to include the music as well, and how
Mhm.
much of it is maybe built from concepts? Because again, you're an artist, so I was
Mhm.
curious where that kind of
Yeah.
line is.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, when I created Illumini Studios, it was really important to use AI. I knew that was important, but not to let it be the driver of anything. So to
Hmm.
use it very sparingly and allowing a director to really have their vision and to articulate that vision to the audiences without getting sidetracked to a different view or a different look that was not intentional. So AI can do that very well. So I've made very deliberate steps to avoid prompting to execution type of things. So everything was all the characters were drawn out initially with pencils, paper. We did some clay maquettes, sculpting it.
Well,
So I really wanted to use what we did at Pixar and not just throw everything out, not the baby with the bathwater.
mhm,
It's we wanted to say this is really beautiful. This works. But what are some things that traditional animation studios do that's so laborious that
mhm.
can be simplified using Gen AI to get to the final product faster. So that was my initial attempt. And Roar is kind of a proof of concept. What can be done? So yes, I think it's a great question. It was always a hybrid. So we wanted to use AI to do the heavy lifting, kind of between frame animation, the interpolation between keyframes, and it was not always smooth, to be honest, especially in the early days. The technology is shifting very fast. So when you rely heavily on off-the-shelf stuff, you're not in control of those updates. So models change, the way that the learning changes. So you spend a lot of time teaching it, and then it just kind of gets, augmented from underneath you. So that was challenging for sure, not having that stability, and especially early on. It's gotten a lot better. And
Yeah.
we've started to implement our own proprietary gen as well.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding correctly, kind of like the concept art or so, the characters, the models, like you said, those
Yeah.
were created and I guess fed into the machine, and then you essentially use the machine to create the frames, you create the animation, if you will, right?
So
For lack of a better
yeah,
term.
so characters, the shading, the set design, those were done 2D first. Then we did an actual build of those characters in 3D so we could have turntables to allow the gen to understand placements. So that they had a better frame of reference. So when we were creating it, we wanted it to have a 360 model turntable of those
Okay.
characters. And
Yeah.
we did that also for the environments as well. So that was really essential for training the gen to be able to have a real representation of 3D spatial awareness. So so that was something that it was one of the early researches that I did early on this was is this actually applicable? Can you do that and have an output that is remains pretty stable? So.
Absolutely. Getting back to the story itself, kind of where did the idea come from?
Yeah. So it's loosely based on my wife, who's our executive producer. So she was born and raised in Japan. And as a family, they moved to San Francisco Bay Area when she was young. And it was a new language, a totally different culture. And so it was for her, it was this transplant, right? She was uprooted and what that feels like. And so it became this story centered around that. And within our own family, we have neurodivergent family members. So it's a very personal story about the challenges that this community faces. And it's not well represented in animation. It's something that I hear a lot of people asking for more. They know that we're working on it and they say, please make more. We have family members that really want this. So that was kind of the at the heart of it, telling a story that's very personal to us, that it feels real, it feels authentic, and can capture visually a feeling of someone who cannot speak. How do you capture that artistically in a way that doesn't feel, you know, misrepresenting that community? That would be really the worst case scenario is
Hmm.
that, we don't um authentically, represent them. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And do you think you said this was a proof of concept for the tools that you used?
Mhm.
Is this also a proof of concept for like a longer feature length version of
Oh, yeah.
this concept of this
For
film?
sure. Yeah, we're writing the feature length right now. And since this film, we've made four other films, and there's two more or three more that are in pre-production right now. So the pipeline is very robust. I feel like at this point where from the early work that we can do to getting it through the pipeline into final products, it's proving it to be very robust and reliable right at this point. So yeah, it's exciting time. It's really kind of unchaining the artist to become very creative.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, in your mind, then you see this as perhaps maybe the future of animation in a way, or a future of a way to do animation. I mean, how does your experience with Pixar speak to
Mhm.
that? And do you think that there should be more of this kind of tool set being utilized to create
Yeah.
Pixar style or 3D animated products?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think I was a couple months ago, I talked to Pete Docter and Frank Oz. They were giving a lecture, and I asked kind of the same question to them. And I said, what does AI look like to directors now? In your point of view. And they both kind of were of the feeling that any tool that a director can use to represent their vision to audiences is valid and has to be evaluated. When the tool starts to shape the idea away from the director's interpretation, that has to be cautiously approached because then you're not becoming an authentic storyteller. The AI is becoming the storyteller, and that's not what we're interested in doing. So, and I believe Pixar is implementing AI, but they're
Is
doing
it?
so very
Hmm,
selectively.
okay.
I know a lot of studios are heavily investing in it. I don't know if anything's in full production, but everyone is looking at it very closely. I think it's probably going to be used as a tool for assistance versus a creator tool. But
Hmm.
this stuff is changing very rapidly. So as the capability increases, it may be looked at as a tool for production. So Pixar has been using AI for a long time, but it's been more on the back end to do
Hmm.
like noise, denoising and stuff like that.
Right.
But they are actively using it, in different capacities. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think AI could be a tool, filmmakers use. I use it for audio adjustment and taking out a bad background noise and stuff. But I try to avoid it for like purely generative purposes, just because I think then you start getting into the who's the actual creator there, right? Are you actually a filmmaker or are you a prompter, right? What are
exactly.
you actually doing?
Oh yeah.
Um, my final question to you, because I know we don't have too much time, is how does it feel to be bringing an AI film like this to Tribeca? And what
Mhm.
do you think is the place for AI at film festivals in general?
Yeah, we've run into a lot of different opinions on that. Some film festivals have a zero policy, zero tolerance policy. They say zero, none of it can be AI. And others are very open about it. So it's becoming more and more every year they're going to have more and more films that are submitted. And there probably will be select categories just for AI films, because it's different. And not everybody takes the steps that we're taking to kind of deliberately rein in the AI and just, some people are just typing and it's sent out. And we're taking really concrete steps to avoid that type of creation. Um, and we created our own copyright detection system internally. So everything that is being created, if it runs through AI, I insist that it's copyrighted to verify that it's not like anything else out there, that no artist has done anything similar to that. Because AI inherently it takes information, it assimilates it and averages it and then spits it out. And it would be mortifying if any of the stuff that we're doing looks like someone else's. So if even with all of the steps that I take, there's been examples where it has placed a character in the background that I didn't ask for. And you have to check, you have to make sure that everything that's being created is your content. And we take very, very specific steps to ensure that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you all are taking steps to be ethical in that regard, because as a
Yeah.
friend of mine who I do this show with on occasion considers AI the plagiarism machine.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something you have to be careful of. And I don't think all other companies are going to be as ethical as you are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you're going to see more and more, I think, AI created content that is very, how do you say, reminiscent or similar to stuff that's out there. I mean,
Yeah.
immediately when I saw this, the picture or the trailer or whatever, the
Mhm.
first scene from the film, I was like, wow, a Pixar film, in Tribeca. I'm like, oh, wait, there's AI elements in this. Like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
Tribeca has an AI friendly policy. Okay.
exactly.
I'm pretty open to the idea of what AI can do. I follow a
Mhm.
lot of like subreddits that, feature AI created
Mhm.
storytelling, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
interesting stuff that's coming out there.
Yeah,
I don't think it's anything that I want to see replace human related or created content yet, but
yeah.
it's moving forward whether or not we want it to or not. And like I was going to bring up the feature film that was in the news recently called Hell Grind. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No,
But
no.
it's apparently an AI created feature film. They spent $500,000 to make this
Mhm.
AI film. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I want to see it
Mhm.
necessarily.
Yes.
I'm curious, but I'm not too sure. But anyways, I do want to thank you so much for taking time out to be on the program, Jesse. Really appreciate it.
Mhm.
Before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that one of the things that I hope to do with the studio is to gain enough traction that I can bring in all of the people that have been let go. Over the last 10 years, we've seen just decimation of the entertainment industry, and people are losing their jobs left and right, and they're finding a hard time getting back to work. And if I can help bring those people back to work in my pipeline to create content, that would be an ultimate goal, really.
That's awesome. That's great. And what's your website again? People can go
So,
to?
alumnistudios.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Jesse, so much for being on the program. Really appreciate it. Good luck and have fun at the rest of your time. And if I see you in the Tribeca, I'll be sure to say hello.
Please do. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Jesse, have a great day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.